Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Yes, this is Carl calling from Rochester, New York. I just want to comment on if you think Ken Dorsey's offense is going to be any different. Well, offense will not be different because we have Coach Stefanski. You guys said that last year, that we were going to do this, we were going to do that, we were going to be more wide open, and we weren't. I wouldn't turn around and say the 5 different quarterbacks made a difference, because it does not. We should do the same thing whether we have this quarterback or that quarterback. It all comes down to Stefanski, and we'll be the same as we were last year. Thanks.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Scott, here's what I would say to that. When you got Joe Flacco, you weren't going to make it much different because Kevin Stefanski's offense is designed for Joe Flacco. I think they were trending towards being more wide open last year, and then Nick Chubb got hurt. And now you're in scramble mode. That was second game of the year. To his point, though, here's what I come back to, and I said it earlier in this show. Why do you change the entire offensive coaching staff if you're going to do the same thing?
Yeah. No, I hear you. I don't think it's fair to the caller to say the quarterback doesn't matter with how the offense is run. I just don't think that's true. And I think we saw a change early in the season. And I felt like it was more wide open. And it was more catered to what Deshaun Watson wanted to do. And then Watson gets hurt week 3 and misses time. And then he comes back and he's out again. And then you go to Flacco. And you can't call the same. You can't call RPOs. You can't call quarterback options with Joe Flacco, right? You can't go quarterback run with Joe Flacco, and those are some things you did with Deshaun Watson. Flacco's best at the play-action game that Kevin Stefanski grew up in. So that was a natural fit. But I think if we had seen Watson for 17 games last year, you would have said, yes, the offense had evolved from where it was in 2020, 21, 22. And I think Stefanski is flexible enough to give up some control of that offense, and at least to invite new opinions and new voices. And that's why you have Ken Dorsey and Deuce Staley and Tommy Rees and all the new coaches they added on the offensive side of the ball, because he wants some more new influences to make the passing game more explosive, to make it more friendly to Deshaun Watson, to add college elements. So I think you will see those. Now, like we said, I don't know how different it's going to look, but I do think Stefanski is willing and wanted to change the offense to some degree. And if he hands over play calling duties, then I certainly think we're going to see a lot more changes than if he continues to call the plays just with, more input from Dorsey and the other guys.
And the caller's criticism of me saying that is fair. I thought the offense would look. It doesn't make sense to me to go out and trade what you traded and pay Deshaun Watson what you're paying him to not play to his strengths. And his strengths are shotgun. Let me find matchups. Let's exploit matchups. And the Browns have Njoku who can exploit a matchup. Judy's pretty good at that. You have an offense where you should be able to find a weak link on the defense and just beat that weak link repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's what they're trying to do. But I do think they tried to take a step in that direction last year. And I think the injuries are a big part of it. Maybe it was Alex Van Pelt, didn't have that same background that Ken Dorsey does, right? Dorsey worked with Cam Newton. He worked with Josh Allen. He feels like a better fit for Deshaun Watson. So that's why I think we will see an evolution. And you're right. And I think the Browns would be the first to say that, yes, they need to give Deshaun Watson the offense that suits him best. And that's all that makes sense. But it was tough to do that in 2022, when he was suspended for the first 11 games.
Yep.
And it was tough to do that with him on the sideline last year.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I'm sure Nick Chubb was a big part of that offense that they were planning, and he got hurt really early in week 2 against the Steelers, down for the season.